I was born here in Lagos.
I was born in Delta State. My parents are actually devout Christians. I did my secondary school St. Ignatius de Loyola.
My memory of growing up is my father was always holding me by the hand, taking me to the mosque with him.
We entered Unilag, I think 1982. We found ourselves in the same room.
Room U117. Jima is my name. I was born into a family of 6. Neither of my parents had the opportunity of going to school. My father was a taxi driver and my mother sold gari at Toimbo Market. So really humble upbringing. But then even in spite of this, they somehow managed to provide for us to be, alhamdulillah, what we are today. They encouraged us and enabled us to be able to go to school. So had my primary school, secondary school, both in Lagos, and Sarudin Primary School. My secondary school was Jibril Martin Memorial Grammar School. And from there, I got admitted to the University of Lagos to read political science.
I was born in Delta State, specifically in Umunede. My father and my mom had 10 children. My father was a popular tailor. Actually, he was sewing clothing for Reverend Fathers. So he had the opportunity of meeting the white people that came to Nigeria in those days, actually from Scotland. And he understood the importance of education. My mother and my dad worked tirelessly to ensure that all of us got education very, very well. I did my secondary school, St. Ignatius de Loyola. Incidentally, my personal name is a Catholic mission school. For me, Lagos was like the in thing. When will I be in this Lagos? Because I was in Benin. And that was what informed my choice of University of Lagos. And to the glory of God, I eventually got admission to read economics. My father embraced religion very early in life with my mom and all the rest. My parents are actually devout Christians. Because of the fact that they embraced God, it opened us up to see life from a different point of view. That one, if you want to succeed, you cannot engage in anything silly or untoward. So those things actually helped me in my formative years. The need to be honest and the need to always tell the truth.
I was also born into a religious home, a Muslim home. I've always been a Muslim. My memory of growing up, my father was always holding me by the hand, taking me to the mosque with him. I was put in the local madrasa, learning the Quran and learning the Arabic language and all. For all the time that we grew up, that was part of our education.
We entered Unilag, I think 1982. We graduated in 1986. Then we were not very close until, to the glory of God, we found ourselves in the same room, U117. Myself, himself, and one other guy called Tola Badamosi. So that was when actually our relationship blossomed. One thing I noticed about Nojim, and to the glory of God, he has not changed from that. And I'm personally very impressed. I could see that he was a devout Muslim. And not only that, he was also very studious. And I was just that kind of person, also given my background. And of course, we became very, very close. Our relationship actually blossomed from there. And the truth is that because of the values, it didn't even occur to me that he's a Muslim or I myself am a Christian. I just saw a very good friend, loving, very easy, we buy things for each other. And because he was a very intelligent person, I also felt it because by my nature, I also associate myself with people I know I can learn from and improve. Even after school, we were very much in touch.
And after our results, we left the uni. And before we left, and it was also a measure of the friendship, we actually exchanged addresses. this is where I'm going to be, because there were no telephones.
Yeah, I could be recent.
IG got to know that he had made a first class. And then his lecturer, Faki
Very good guy.
took him to the staff club to kind of treat him. And then at the staff club, my own supervisor, Dr. Shino Sambo, now of blessed memory, he was also at the staff club. So Dr. Faki introduced IG to the person who was my supervisor without knowing there was a relationship, that this is one of my students is made a first class. And then it was IG that narrated this story to me. And then Dr. Sambo, my supervisor, now responded that, oh, my department is also producing first class for the first time this year. And IG said, his response was, you told Dr. Sambo, even if you may have forgotten this, that my roommates must be there.
Well, correct, yes, I remember, yeah.
That my roommate, and then he said, Dr. Sambo asked you, who is your roommate? You said, no, Jimo. And he neither confirmed nor denied, but he said that his body language showed that truly had made a first class. So IG now left Unilag and came to my house on Iwaya Road, Onike.
Yeah, very correct, I remember.
So it was a three-story building. I think we were on the third floor. I was hearing my name from the ground floor. And they said, no, Jim. No, he was calling me from the streets. I was on the third floor. No, Jim. And your exact statement was, we've made it.
Thereafter, I went for my youth service. I lectured. I got a scholarship while I was lecturing for 1 year to Italy, where I did my master's degree in business economics. God was wonderful, because as at 1992, when I was very much below 30, I was already a branch manager of a bank.
In my case, that was the first time that the University of Lagos was producing a first class in political science. I also got a scholarship to do my master's at Unilag, following which I went to Middlesex University, did a professional qualification, started my career there, became a fellow, the first Nigerian fellow of the UK Chartered Institute of Housing. I was in a very senior position when I was headhunted to join a property development company in Nigeria. So returning to Nigeria, I needed a place that would be comfortable enough for me to stay. And of course, it was in IG's house that I came to, and he looked after me. And then from his house, I moved to my house.
When I went to UK for the first time, I think that was 96, 97, he was already there. Of course, Najim came straight to the airport to pick me. And despite the fact that I was married, they still gave me good accommodation. I would sleep upstairs and I would spend like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before I go, and all the rest. Which even sometimes I come with my first son until my wife also came, and all of us will stay together. So that has been the journey, and I can't forget him, because the truth is that he's the best Muslim friend that God has blessed me with. And I don't even see that religion in our relationship. Sometimes when I even go to London and Najim's house, and two of us will drive, and he will park the car, and after praying, he comes out and we drive out. It's difficult for me to believe that this religion supersedes.
You know what he said about staying in my house is quite significant, in that at that stage of his life, there was no hotel in the UK that IG couldn't afford to stay in. For me, all he was doing there was expressing friendship rather than just coming to stay in the house. On reflection also, on my part, I think those qualities that we share is what has really cemented the relationship. And these were not things we were doing because of each other.
Yeah.
I was who I was, and he was who he was. I'm not sure religion came into my consciousness at all in terms of the friendship. Much as I was very religious, even from university level, I was the PRO of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria Unilag branch. So that was the level of involvement, right? I was one of the best known faces in the mosque, because as the PRO, I was the one who made announcements and stuff. But in terms of my relationship with him as a roommate, as a friend, I'm not sure that religion came into it. Just as he saw me as a decent person, I just saw a decent person as well. That we shared so much in common, I was not even so conscious of it at that time. It is now, many years later, decades later, that I now appreciate that what must have made us to have gelled this much.
I did not see religion as being capable of playing any role in certain decisions that one should take. Moreover, while we were in Unilag, every holiday, I would go to Kano to meet with one of my uncles and all the rest. So I was used to Kano life, and those people, when they are praying, we wait for our friends to finish praying, they will start playing football. They also wait for us when we finish our church service on Sunday, we all come back. So for me, these things did not really play any role. Nojim is one person that my children, I can leave my children with him. And I've done that because my first son, who is now 26, 27 years, stayed with him all through. And Nojim will go to Northampton to help me pick my son.
In 2010, IG was starting this business, having retired from the bank. And then he invited me, his good friend, along. And then so we've made this journey together. The business has grown in leaps and bounds. And then all the glory be to God for that.
It's been a very fantastic journey, and I see him not just a friend, I see him as a brother. Even when he retired last year, I actually told him in very clear terms, for those who understand the Bible, that my story with him is like David and Jonathan. Even though Saul from a different background, but David appreciated Jonathan, and that's the kind of friendship I believe I have with him today. He's still the director of the company, and he will remain the director as God allows us.
Neither of us has had to compromise our religion just because of the other. Yeah. I remain very much a Muslim and Imam. I do all that I need to do as a Muslim, just as he does all that he needs to do as a Christian. And as he said, when he would visit me in London and it would be time for prayer, and we are driving past the mosque, I will park the car, he will wait for me, I will pray, and we will continue our journey. And that's how, and in the 10 years that we worked together here, that is how it was as well.
And as a matter of fact, when he eventually took his retirement last year, because one, I knew that definitely this is an imam and all the rest. And in fact, that one thing that we need you guys to do, our company should sponsor him, to also grow in what he intends to do as an imam. And it was something that I see as joy for me. So the company actually sponsored his trip, while he was in Dubai for
Arabic studies, yes.
Oh, yeah, for Arabic studies.
We've never had the kind of quarrel that we are not talking, or I'm resigning, or we are no longer friends. Any kind of frictions or disagreements will be tied to the company doing better. We complement each other so well.
One thing from Nojim specifically now is that in anything that you do, especially when it comes to relating with God, and you see that high level of commitment, the possibility of being vulnerable to the pleasures of the world, things that could actually take you off course from a godly path, is very, very remote. And that is all about being sincere and honest. So that's one thing I've been able to also see from his background. And I see Nojim do that very, very well.
The one thing I've learned from IG is that he's totally blind to ethnicity or religious differences. And I'll give you real life examples. When we started here, there were only 4 of us core staff. This was IG and a car man from Delta, and then surrounded by these 3 Yoruba people. If IG was only looking for a fellow Christian or a fellow car man, then we wouldn't be here discussing as we are today. The second part is in the act of giving. We've had people here who have buried parents, and I know how much each of them got from him just to do burials. So in terms of giving, There is so much to learn from him, and I have learned very much from him.
I believe that there is need for us to promote national identity and loyalty. And I believe there is a failure of leadership if this country, the citizens of this country, do not see themselves as one.
There's one sentence I learned from him, shared destiny. He uses that description a lot. What he sees are different people coming together and succeeding together, rather than I'm looking for a fellow Muslim to succeed with, and I'm looking for a fellow Christian to succeed with. If Nigeria can be like this, we would actually travel much faster than where we are, and all of us will benefit from it.